Hi everyone, welcome back to another For Those Who Code video. This channel is where we learn and share skills about design and development. If you want to grow your skills and learn new things that's coming up, please like, share, and subscribe for more. Right now, I'm looking and browsing Product Hunt website, and I know I'm not logged in. They have pretty decent design, and I totally like it. They are always updated and there are tons of new products added every day. And in the other tab right here, I have also opened Product Hunt, but this time it's in my local machine. So it's serving in localhost 3000. So are we gonna make the clone of Product Hunt with just Tailwind CSS? So as you can see here, it's all the same, and but the slight difference is pixel moves here and there, which is it's kind of like 90% the same. So without any delay, let's get started. So before we begin, there are a couple of links that I want to share about with you guys. So first one is definitely it's producthunt.com, and don't be confused, it's a live site, producthunt.com, and we have a list of products. We'll be taking the reference of this particular site to make our clone with just Tailwind CSS. And the other thing is we'll also go through the Tailwind documentation frequently, and inside their documentation we will make the use of this search powered by Algolia. And then other thing is we will also make the reference of Tailwind Cheatsheet, which is nerdcave.com/Tailwind Cheatsheet, so that we can take a reference of anything that's needed inside here. And also we want to make the conversion of pixel to REM in some cases, like inspecting some elements right here and converting to REM, because we have REM inside of Tailwind. And if you go to font sizes, and you can see REM, not pixels. So we'll be also doing the conversion right here with the converter, and yeah, that's basically it. So let's do it. I've already started the project from a starter template, and which I'll be linking down below. And I have created a couple of folders here which are assets, and I have already kept some of the assets that's needed as well. And inside of components, we'll be making components, but we won't be diving into React code, but we'll just make the use of React for making components, and we'll be creating our components right here. And inside of our app.js, we just have this text, and it's spinning right in our localhost port 3000, which is right this one. So let's take a look at the Product Hunt website, and we'll be first making our navbar component. So before making the navbar component, looking at the Product Hunt website, the design is pretty awesome, and then I really like it. And we have this container size of 1100. Basically, you can see that uh, Tailwind doesn't provide us with a container size of 1100, so we need to customize it. So for that one, I have opened a good article where we can see the customization that can be uh, done with the help of Tailwind. So inside here, as you can see, inside plugins, we have add components and define different breakpoints. So let's go ahead and implement this approach for customizing our containers inside of our Tailwind. So with this article in reference, I will just go ahead and add some code that is needed for us to customize our container. So basically it says add a component which has a class of dot container, and we have defined the screen size and given it a max width of 1100 in case of Excel sizes. So basically we are trying to modify, or in other words, override what we have. So if we save this one, and let's head on to creating a new component right here, which can be called navbar.js. And inside here we will import React, and let's add our React so that we can make the use of Emmet. So, and let's also add another div because we want wrapping div right there, and then we want a class name to be container. So this is our container. So we just added this one and ultimately export default navbar. So let's format a bit and then let's save this one, and let's import navbar inside of our app.js file from components and navbar. Let's add this inside of our app here. Let's save it, and we don't have any errors because we haven't done anything. And if we take a look at here, and you can see that we have 1100 as our width, but it's not totally centered. So for centering that one, we can make the use of something called MX Auto, which tells it that in x-axis we don't have any margin, so gives margin left auto, margin right auto, which aligns it to center. Now taking a look at the navbar right here, we will first implement this paddings. We will have a div which wraps our left section, the logo, the placeholder with text, and then these links. And in the right, we will have just two icons or two buttons, right? So for implementing this, we will just remove this one for now, and then add one div and add another div and call it flex, and justify items, justify between. So this is left and this is right. So basically this is what we are trying to achieve. So we have this in left and this in our right, which is great. So we will also add some classes, as we know that our navbar is a fixed element with the background of white. So we can add bg white and fixed, and we can also add some of the inset properties, like left is 0 and right is also 0. And probably we can take a look at the jet index, because jet index, it has predefined properties. For now we can just use jet 10. So let's add jet 10 as well, and then inside of our app.js we will again, I need to activate React because it doesn't give me the Emmet abbreviation right there. And let's move this in up, and then we can add a class name of padding top, probably padding top of, let's say, 5 for now. And then let's see what happens. And as you can see here, we have fixed implemented with the padding top of 5 pixels. But if we add padding top of 20 pixels more, it's fine. So it's working fine. So let's go ahead and do our section on the left inside of our navbar, which is logo, the text field, and some links. So inside of our left part, inside of our navbar, we will add a logo, which would be inside an anchor tag. And I want to add JavaScript void 0 because it doesn't complain me about the herf is missing. And inside of our anchor tag right here, I will grab some SVGs that's needed. I'll grab the SVG of product hunt, which I have in my another screen, and I will just add them right here. So we have that as well, and then we can also um, make another div now inside of our this div, which is the left div, and we'll call this one uh, input wrapper, let's say. So this div would be relative because we want to be uh, you know we want the absolute element, which is the search icon, to this one. So this would be relative, and let's also add the search icon. Before that one, we need another div for the search icon. Search icon here. So for the input, we have some class that I want to add, and uh, let's add in extra large screen. This would be width of 80, and it's a rounded, and we have a border, and border gray of 300 as well. Let's format a bit and save it. Let's see. As you can see here, our text holder is fine, but it's not pretty aligned. So let's go inside this div right here, which is the left part, and add flex to it so that everything comes to a vertical center, I suppose. So class name of flex, and then a search icon. Yeah, okay. Search icon is generally its absolute element. So absolute element. So search icon is absolute. This is relative, and let's also add some of the I mean, not the margin, but padding to the top right, which is 15, left and right 15. So let's add that one as well inside of our navbar wrapper, maybe inside here. So we can add padding bottom of 5 and padding of x-axis of 5, and then we can also add items to the center. I think we don't need it. Let's save it and let's see in the browser. Probably we have the padding to our bottom, but it's not on the top, so we'll also add padding top 5. So if you are not well familiar with, enough with the Tailwind classes, I recommend you to go with the Cheatsheet and just add like padding, and then you can see the list of padding here. What we have added is around padding of 4. I think it's 5, I think. Yeah, so you can basically do anything. Just visit this cheat sheet if you are not familiar enough with the class names, but I'll be taking a reference with the class names if we want to take a reference, but for now it seems okay. So this is a class of flex, and let's add a bit of padding to its right of the logo as well, because we want to add padding to the right as well. So logo would be this anchor, and I want to add margin right of 1, let's say, or maybe 2. That's really small. Yeah, it's fine for now. We will be doing the minor fixes later on. So I think the container is somewhat right. um, so let's fix this first. You know, for the absolute element we have something called inset. So if we just go to inset, then you can see that you can also define inset, uh, INSET, theme inset theme configuration. Yeah, this is it. Top right bottom left of the position element, which is inset. So we have a couple of inset that is predefined, but we want to have our custom inset. So for that custom inset, we'll be taking a reference of another article probably, um, but rather than that one, I will just add a small piece of snippet inside of our theme, curly braces right here, and paste in this code, which says that we have a custom inset of 15, 25, 40, and 0, and we can call it with inset dash 15 to have 15. So let's use that inside of here. And for our absolute element, we can give something called inset of 15 because we defined it inside of our config. And I want to replace it with SVG. I'll grab the SVG and paste it over here. So we have that SVG as well, and we haven't touched our right part of our navbar yet. And generally, it's really time consuming uh, playing with the Tailwind. But if you're comfortable with the classes, then definitely it's like really a time saver, and it can scale really well, I think. But the only thing is we have a lot of classes to be written inside of our markup files. So yeah, we have some kind of inset ready, but this input field is not properly, the height is not okay. So let's add some classes inside here. So the classes that can be added is maybe padding x of 3, and then we have padding y of 1, and let's also add you know text, and the text size it takes is generally we have I think it's 13. So let's see. Yeah, it's 13 actually, but we don't have a font size of 13 inside of our Tailwind. So if you take a look at the fonts, and we don't see any 13 pixels, but right here we have 12 and 14, so we need to customize it as well. For that one as well, I will just grab some font sizes that's needed, and inside of our Tailwind config file we will just add the desired font size inside of our theme braces and hit a save. So basically it says F11 is 11 pixels, F12 is 12, 13, and 20. So F13 is 13 pixels. So we'll grab that one, and inside of our input we'll add text F13 and hit a save. And we can also add a placeholder for our text. So placeholder will be the same, which is discover your next favorite thing, and let's save it, next favorite thing. But we haven't really worked on the padding stuffs, right? So as you can see here, we have a bit of padding on our left and right, but we'll fix that. So I'll just add a few more classes to this input field. I've added some of the classes needed for this particular input fields, and basically I have just added padding left and padding of y-axis and also some x-axis, and it somewhat looks decent for now. So let's move on to our navbar links right here. So these can be inside a nav tag. So let's make also the use of semantic HTML. So right here, not inside of our this is right, but inside of our let's see here. So let's add nav, and we want to add some anchor tags, and obviously we want to add this to just stop complaining about there is no ref. And the first text is discussion. Okay, so let's save it, and you may have noticed it's not vertically aligned. Aligning it vertically, we can add a class name with flex and justify center. This should be a dash. It's not centered. Okay, so maybe we'll figure that out definitely, but we will just add a few more classes to this one. In the medium size, we can give it margin right of auto for now, and then we have a padding in the y-axis 1 and padding left 4, because we want a gap on our left, which is that one, and align items center. Yeah, align items center works. So let's search for align items inside of our cheat sheet. I think it's items center. Okay, it's items center, not justify center. Let's save it and let's see what do we have here. And it's pretty decent, and we have uh, just kind of a color mismatch. So let's also add some colors to this one. And obviously this is 16 pixel, which is text base. Text base is generally 16 pixels, so I've added text base. And for the colors, I want to add class names for our anchor tags. So all the anchor tag will have margin right of 5. So we have some margin on the right of each items here. So margin right of 5, and we will also make it text base, which is 16 pixels, and probably add a text of gray with 600 for now. And during its hover, uh, we can transition it to text of gray 700. Probably this works. So let's also add some other anchor tags. So last one would be a simple SVG, and as you can see here we have something decent, right? So second is deals, and third is jobs, and fourth is ship, and the last one is some SVG. So let's grab that one, which is ready in my other screen, um, and we will just paste it here. All right, so now taking a look at this one, it's kind of resembling things up. So we will have our minor fixes later on, but for now we will just implement these buttons right here, right? So let's add some buttons. And this is right, so we will add some buttons, and we will have simply a button tag and another button tag, where we can have a class name and give it let's say font of bold and text uppercase, and this is login, and this is sign up, right? So we'll also add same classes to our other button as well, and we will see that it's too big, right? So we will just have our inspect, but I know that this is 13 pixels obviously, and which is also padding of 13 to our right and left, which definitely we will just add it. And I know pretty much what style that is does it take. So it has align item center, wrap, and all the stuffs. Okay, so inside here we will add text of 11 because it's not 13, it's 11 pixels. I saw that before. And then we have the font of bold, and then we can inline it flex and items to the center. And the intelligence really helps in these cases, so please do use the Tailwind intelligence as well. So we have the background white as well, and border of gray of 300 of shade. And let's see, margin, yeah, we will just add a margin of right of 2 because we don't want to stick two buttons because we have some space here. So margin of right, and or definitely this is also an uppercase which we have already written, and padding y-axis of 2 and padding x-axis of 3. And during hover we can transition it to background gray of around 200 of shade, and obviously it's rounded, and margin top of 4. And let's see, what do we have here? Yeah, it's pretty decent. It somewhat resembles, but definitely we will be having this minor fixes later on. For our sign up button, we want to have a specific color to this one. So for that color to add, I will just add a span tag, still the, and inside of our span tag I'll move this one here and give our span a class name of F13. So basically we will have our span in all of our button because we want to take effect of make the use of uh, this span, and for that one we will just head on to our index.js, and inside here we will just add some code snippet which helps us to like add colors. So we have the colors here, but I will just add some colors that needed because um, like managing colors inside of Tailwind, which is a custom color, it's like kind of like hectic. So I'll just use CSS for just the colors, and I will just save it because we have all the things that's needed inside here. So let's close this one as well because we don't need it right now, and let's save it and let's see. It's still the same. Okay, let's add some classes to this one. So we'll add this primary and text of around F11 because we have defined it inside of our config file, and the font would be bold, which is a replication. This is why we, and the Tailwind intelligence is great. Uppercase, and it's also repeated. Okay, inline flex, and a text of white, and items can be center, and background would be orange with border 0, and obviously it's a rounded one with a padding top of 4, same as what we have here. which is empty4, and then let's see and take a look at what do we have here. It's kind of same, but we don't have a proper padding, right? So for the padding, we can add padding in the x-axis of 3 and padding in the y-axis of 2. Great. So I will just add some minor fixes here and there because it seems like we don't have vertically aligned. As you can see here, everything is not vertically aligned, and probably we have some pixels here and there. Now I've already added some minor tweaks, and right now it looks something decent, similar to what we have here with product hunt, but it's some 90% resembles the same, right? So we will just go ahead with the other sections, and for now we'll just move to the main body part, or let's say it's just in case you missed it part. So as you can see here, we have max width of 1100, of course, and we also have they have used grids, I suppose, so we'll be also using grids. And if we take a look at the main and this one, we have a pretty they have used flex, but yeah, they have used flex, so we'll be just making the use of grids for this one. And let's add some in case of you missed it parts now. And inside of our app.js, we want to add a header because currently it doesn't have a header. So I will just add header, and inside here we can add our navbar, right? So and this needs to be inside a single quote. So I'll just make the use of fragment for that one. And header can have a class name of body font, which we have that class. And we will just have another div inside here, which is this one, which is fine. And we'll also add a class of padding top of 20 because we want to push everything down what comes just after the navbar. So padding top of 20, and we will just add some of the classes right here, which is probably we need a container class name and give it a container and mx auto and padding of x of 5, and then we can also add another div. And generally we are making some grids that's needed for our main feed and aside, which is the main feed right here, and this is aside. So we'll be naming this one aside, and this is the name main feed. So inside our container mx right here we will add main feed. Let's see, feed, let's call it main feed, which I'll be like making that one. And then after the main feed closes, we will make the use of another div, and inside this div we'll have a sidebar, and this will just come to come to shape uh, after we add the classes. So container, okay, so padding top of 6, and this should be grid, and grid of goals 1. And in the larger screens, forgot class name, and then for the larger screens we can add lg as a prefix, and then grid and calls 6. And we can also define gap. So in the large screen we can add zep, okay, gap of 6 as well. And inside here we can also add another div for now, and then we can like move this one up here and then give it a class name of goal span 4 and sm goal span 4 as well, and in the large screen lg goal span 4. Basically we could have just excluded lg, but we will just add the grids, and then after using this one we will come to this div and create a class name. This will come into shape in the case where we can just add goal span 2, and in the lg we can have goal span of 2 as well. For now, let's remove this one, and everything looks fine. Just let's save it. Let's see in the browser main feed. Oh yeah, we haven't really made these components, so I will just add these components inside of our component. I'll just import it here. I've made some components, which is main feed and a sidebar. We'll be also adding other components inside here as well, and we won't be just overpopulating the templates, template syntax and these classes inside of our main feed, but rather making components. So let's take a look at what do we have here in the browser. And as we can see here, we have really made the use of grids, and we do have these blue colors as a grid gap of 6. As you can see there in the tooltip kind of thing, there is lg gap of 6, and we have also the grid goals of 6, and yeah, basically it. So we'll be just going through our main feed now, and then inside of our main feed we will create some other components. So main feed will have some components like probably Missedit or maybe today list, and then we won't be really covering other things. Rather we'll be just repeating Missedit as well. And in the right we have a banner image, which is the Golden Kitty Awards, and here is button and some upcoming products, hiring now, and then newsletter. And we'll just skip top discussion because this video will get really long if I just cover all the stuffs. But with these skills you will be easily able to create decent looking UI yourself as well. So instead of our main feed, we'll just copy this one, and then we will make few other components. Let's call it missedit.js, and then we will rename it to Missedit and export Missedit, and this is Missedit, and we'll copy this one. We'll make other components as well, and let's call it today list.js, and let's add today list here. Let's export today list, and let's also add today list so that we can identify this one as well. And the last thing is a sidebar. We will be coming to sidebar later on, but for now just remove this one, and let's first finish our Missedit part. So inside our Missedit we will have a header. It's not inside of any heading tags, and we will kind of replicating the same. We'll just place it inside of our random tags, and for each card what do we have here? So for each card we have padding of 20 and 104 to the right, and this is position absolute element, and we have some images and these headings. So first of all, let's add some padding, and let's add a bit of markup. We have a couple of images right here, so I'll just first of all import some images that's already inside of assets, and we will also make the use of fragment because it needs to be inside a single div. So now let's make a heading of s2, which doesn't work. The emit doesn't work. I'll activate the React, and the heading can be the same that we have here, which is in case you missed it. So I'll just copy this one. Quite lazy to like type it out. So let's add a class name to this as well. So as I have already inspected, it's around the font size of 20, which is not predefined font size. We'll have to customize it, and font weight of 600. So we'll add like we have uh, the font size of our 20. So which is text f20, which we have created inside of our Tailwind config file, which is probably this one, f20. And then we can also add other classes like this is text left, and then some colors of text gray, grey of 900, and it's font of bold as well. So let's take a look. It doesn't missed it. Okay, I think we haven't really imported Missedit inside of our main feed. So inside of our main feed, let's import Missedit from Missedit, and then let's paste this right here. This should be inside a tag, and the tag should be closed. Okay, just this worked, but we haven't really made the use of these images, obviously. So it's complaining about the image 1, 2, and 3. So let's add other stuffs right here. And now what we need is a div, and inside here we'll add another div, and inside that div we'll have UL, and we will have the list of all the products right there, and we will come after that list later on, but for now, list of products. So in case you have missed it, right? So in this particular div, we will just take a look at what's needed. So looking at this one, we need to be it as a flex element, obviously, and we have a white background and a rounded border, and we won't be really going through the hover interaction because as I said, this video will be really extra long. So we have some uh, maybe a margin bottom and a bit of margin, and then we have a little bit of shadow as well. So let's add some classes to this div, and let's add classes like flex, and it's a background of white and rounded with a bit of shadow, and overflow can be hidden. And then in the small size, it can also take effect like flex, and item center and margin bottom can be 6. Okay, so let's add flex, and width would be full to this one, and also let's add class of width full so that it takes all the full width of white space, right? And let's save this one, and we'll just add AAA. All right, so now let's also add other classes. So inside of our list, we can add a div where we can just push everything with the padding. So in this div we will just add, and this is a list, and inside of our class name We want to add this is obviously flex and padding left of 5 and padding right of let's keep it 24 because as we saw earlier this is padding absolute element, so it has padding to our right. So we will just implement padding right to 24 for now, and then we will just add padding top of 5 and padding bottom of maybe 5 as well. And this is uh, relative because we want something to be absolute on our right, and border of bottom, and then border of gray of 200. And let's also save this one. And as you can take a look, we have quite decent space going on. So we'll also add some space just in the bottom of, in case you have missed it, margin bottom of 2. I think 3 would be fine. Yeah, it's fine. 3 is fine. So inside of our, this is a list, we have to make a couple of divs, right? The first div is for the image. So image source would be the image that we imported, which is image 1, and hunt image. Let's add, and then we can have another div down here, and this div will have just an s3 tag with the same name like audio blog, audio block, audio block, audio blogs. Okay, audio blogs. And then this particular div can have class name of margin left of 2 because we want to have a little bit of margin on our left. So we have this, and then this can be just like the same font as this. So let's inspect it, and it's font weight of 616 pixel of size. Okay, so we'll add some more classes to this one and give it a class name of let's add text space, because we know that it's a 16, and font bold, and then text gray of around not 50 but 900, because it's a really dark text right there. So yeah, so we are kind of aligned. Let's also add some other text as well. So for the other texts, I will just add, the span tag. Before moving to the span tag, I want to add some paragraphs for our, uh, these text, so that it doesn't complain about anything. And inside here we can add listen. Okay, and we can format a bit, and then this paragraph can take a class name of around text of F13, and the font is a normal font. And let's save it, and let's take a look at the browser, and it looks somewhat similar. So we'll copy this text right here and just paste it right there, which is this one. And let's see, it's kind of like resembles, right? Now let's add that to 57 text right there as well. For that one, we have a little bit of padding or margin on our bottom of paragraph, which can be seen in the computer property, and it's 12. And we have an SPG icon and a little bit border and a little bit of image right there. So let's implement that one. And for that one, we will just go downwards of here, and as we said, we will just implement span tag, and we will just add the SVG of this comment small box right here. So I will just grab SVG needed, which is this one, and then also I will add a paragraph of text just below the SVG, and this can say like 212, right? And then let's also give it a class name of around text of font size of 11, because it's quite small, and this is uppercase, and our margin left of around 1, and font is medium. And for our span tag right here, we will also add some classes, and the classes is, I think it should be, you know, inline flex. So let's just hover over to our uh, and yeah, and this would be inline flex, and we have flex and with full right here, and it somewhat resembles the same as we want, which is this one. And let's also create an absolute element right here, and as it says that main feed is not defined. Okay, so main feed is not defined. Probably main feed. Let's see. We have this main feed right here, and inside of our app we have main feed, main feed, main feed. Okay, so oh, that was old, old um, errors. That was down there. But let's go to our absolute position element, and um, for that absolute position element, I still want to grab the SPG, because we have the caret, uh, the caret that we have, which is this caret right here. This shape, this pointed shape, triangle shape, is called caret. I call it caret. So I will just remove this absolute element, and give it a class of a name of absolute, and absolute, and then maybe it can go top of 25, and we need a dash there, and then right of 40, and border gray of 200, and it's rounded. And inside this div we will have another div, and inside here we will just paste that SVG that we have, and we will also add some classes, and the classes that can be added are flex column. And if we take a look at our here, we can see it's absolute, and it's top 25, right 25, which is as expected, because we have added top 25 and right 40, sorry, right 40. And then let's style a bit for our flex call. So for our flex call, we want to also align it to the center, and items to center, and padding of left of 2, and padding right of 2, and padding top of 4, and padding bottom of 4, and give it a bit of inset of 3. So basically inset of 3 helps to, like, it's a predefined Tailwind classes, and not doing inset, but we have something called inset, and I just picked it right from here, and which is kind of resembles the same, but we haven't yet added the span tag for our uh, the digits right there. So let's call it 2465. It's a hard-coded text for now. Let's add a class name of uh, text font of 13, and as we know that this is a font bold with 13, and mm, it's definitely uh, 613. Okay, so we will add 13 and the font is semi bold, and margin top of just 1 for now, and then give it a block element. Let's save this one and let's see what do we have here. Everything looks fine except we don't have a border yet, so we'll just add a border to that one. And inside of our div we do have a border, but why doesn't it take a border? Because I guess we haven't like added something called border. And yeah, it's definitely looking pretty great till now. Just a few wait for our text right here, then everything is just repetition of this one. So I'll just add a font weight to our which is semi bold. Okay, it does have a font weight, but let's add bold. Okay, great. Looks pretty visually similar, right? So I'll just go ahead and add some other hard-coded lists right here because I've already loaded up some images. So yeah, um, and after finishing this one, we'll move to this section, which is today, which is generally speaking, it's somewhat similar, but except we have this popular and newest right here, which won't be a big problem to just add those. And now it looks something like this, which is pretty visually similar. And I've added some other products here as well. And I've added to that list. No, it's not to that, but it's a typo mistake. It's a today list. And we'll be working for today list right here. And uh, everything looks visually the same, but it's except we have this popular and newest to our right in the heading, and just the data is different, image and all the stuff. And let's go ahead and implement that. I have created a today list component and I have imported it inside of our main feed just below our Missedit section that we just did before, which is this Missedit. and I've added today list. So inside our today list, I'll just grab everything that we have it inside of our, a missed it section. So I'll grab everything between the return and then just go here and paste it right here and format a bit. And then we can also add some of the, images that's needed as well. So I will just grab some images that's needed, and I will just import the image that we need right here as well, and then just replace these images with the images name 5 and 6, and then maybe just add these. And then let's see, what do we have here? We have everything looks pretty decent till now, but except we have some some product names, and we will also add some anchors to our right. So to add some anchors to our right, like popular and newest, we will just go to this and call it today, and then inside of our today here we will add, I guess we will just wrap this s2 element with a div, I suppose, because it would be really easy for us to write. And again, it's emmet problem, so just add a div, and inside that div we will move this inside of here, and then we will add another div here. So basically this will have a class name of margin bottom 3, and we want to remove this margin bottom from here, and we want it to be flex with um, just justify between. So where is between? Okay, and items to the center, and flex, and then flex row. I think flex row is the direction of the flex in default, but anyway, and we will just add the div right here, and I think that'd be best if we just use a span tag for this one. I think so. Let's use a span tag, and inside this span we'll just have anchor, two anchors, and just stop complaining about the stuff. So first one is popular, and the second one is newest, right? And then we will just format it, and then let's save it, and let's see here. It's here, but we need it here. But let's see what have we done here. It should work now, and it does. So we will just add a bit of style to this one. Let's inspect it. What do we have here? So a margin left of 5, margin padding left of 5 again. There are two spaces anyway, and obviously cursor pointer, and border left of 1 pixel solid, but we don't see a border there. But we won't be just adding border, but anyway, uh, and we will be having a font width of 400 and 11 pixel of font size. Okay, so inside of our span, let's add a class name here, and we want the text size to be 11, so F11, as we have defined in our config file, and it's an uppercase font of all caps, and font is medium, not bold, it's medium. So yeah, it's kind of like decent enough. And yeah, I have added some of the text right here as well, like new products here and there. So our main feed section is quite finished, and now we won't be just going into the mobile view because it'll be a hell of a long video, and I will just go inside of our main feed and add another Missedit right down here, so that it will be pretty occupied and not pretty blank. So now let's move to our aside section right here, and in our aside section we have first this kitty award, which is an image, which is a static image block, and if we just hit a close, and if we just drag it, it should just drag it, isn't it? Anyway, this is an image, and we will be placing this absolute button right here with the help of inset, as we did for our this part here, and then we will further move on with our hiring now and upcoming products as well. So let's implement the aside. So let's go to aside bar. Let's bring on some of the imports that we need, and I have brought some of the images that I have inside of assets, and we will just empty this one for now, and we will rename it to aside. This should be a tag aside, and inside aside we want to have a div, and it again just goes away. The image just goes away, and I have to like reconfigure. It's in React, and anyway, I have this now. We'll just focus on this kitty golden kitty awards section right here in aside, and it has let's say it has a position of relative, because we want it to be like, you know, a button floating on the top of the image. So we have this particular image that we uploaded just right here, and we'll be using that one. And we'll also add an alt text kitty here, help for accessibility issues. And then we have next thing right here, which is our absolute button, right? So we'll just give a class name of absolute, and inside here we have button, right? So which is winner announced. And inside of our relative element down here, we will create another div, which will be our upcoming, maybe another div as well, upcoming products. And let's hit a save, and let's see what do we have here. So yeah, basically we have the image right here, but we haven't like played with the getindex and inset properties. Let's go ahead and add some classes needed, and for that one we will add some classes inside of our absolute right here. We'll add a bottom of it has 25, which is predefined Tailwind class, and left of 25. So bottom 25, left of 25 for the position absolute element. And for the button, we want span tag, as we said earlier. We want span tag inside every button that we create, just for the sake of for the sake of everything to work fine. And the button is text of 11 pixels, and then we can see that let's inspect this one, and it's display inline, text transform of uppercase, font weight of 611, and the color of product hunt. Okay, so we have that one, and we want to add other classes, which is font bold. It's bold, and it's in uppercase, and it's item center and inline flex, and then border and border gray of around 300, and then margin right of 2, uppercase is already written, and padding of y-axis of 2 and padding of x-axis of 3, and it's an rounded button with the text not base, margin top of 4, and empty size we have margin, I think I forgot this one, margin top of 0. So inside of our span tag right here, we add a class name, and which is F13, and give it a text hunt, which is our text color, right? Let's hit a save, and let's see what do we have here. Everything looks fine except we don't have a background, right? So let's go and add some background, and we can add a background with bg property at bg and white, and then let's hit a save, and everything looks fine. Everything must look fine. Okay, somewhat it's the same. Yeah, announced. Okay, now let's move on to our other sections down here in our upcoming products, right? Also, we will take a quick look at what do we have to write for our classes. And for our upcoming products, we have the same text as we have here, but it's a little bit small. So let's see what text do we have here. It's font weight of 600, and I think it's 16 because it's a base font. So this is 16. And then we have something called powered by ship, which will be also using span tag, font weight of 413 pixels. So let's bring this one first. So inside our here we will add a class name, and we want to have some gaps on the top, which is margin top of 3. And if we hit a save and go here, we have a margin top of 3, but I think we need a bit more, so I will add 4, right? So yeah, that's fine. So now let's work on our this class of upcoming products. All right, and this is a text base which takes 16 pixels. I think it's a 16 pixels of base font size, and this is obviously font bold, and margin bottom of 3, and this is text gray of around 900, and this should be not uppercase, so I'll just keep this U uppercase. And we will also be adding a span tag, right, as we said. And yeah, so we will be adding this span, which is powered by ship, and we'll be writing powered by ship right here, powered by ship. And then we will be adding the class names to this one, and the class name would be text of font size of 30 as described in the config files, and margin left of 2, and text gray of around 500, and the font is normal. And if we hit and save and just go here, it doesn't take much of an effect. But why? Let's inspect it. Inspect, and then font normal. Oh, the class name. That's in TypeWeaver. It should be class name. This is the thing what I generally don't like that much about React, is the class name n should be capital. But anyway, it's fine. But I love React. React is awesome. So we have these right here, and let's add other stuffs right here. So we have closed this one, and inside of our aside we'll add another div, and inside of that div we will add another div as well. And probably this div would be the card. So class name would be this would be, obviously this is a background of white and rounded with shadow, and then we will have our list right here. So we'll just add div, and inside here we'll just write list of the product. And inside our class name right here we will also add some classes that's needed. So let's save it, and let's see what do we have here. List of products, which is awesome. So inside of our this background white background, we'll have border of bottom, and border should be gray of around 200. And also let's add overflow hidden to it, and in small size this is flex SM. Okay, and justify content should be space between, justify between, and padding of 5, and items to the center. Let's see, what do we have here? Yeah, looks perfect. Okay, so inside of our this border box that we created, we will add another div right here, and inside this div we will just add a span, and we'll just call it podcasting, and ping, and then we'll also add another div because we want you know, everything that's right here, which is automatic. And then we will it changed from yesterday, but we will just add automatic, or just add a podcasting. It's just a heading, this one, and just a text, and just a follow anchor tag, and then a plus svg. On the right we have an image, right? So we'll just replicate that one. We already have made the border box, and we will just adding these text and also the image. So podcasting, that'll be fine for now. And then we will also have uptime. Oh, I'm really poor at spelling. monitoring, monitoring for podcasters. And then we have another div down here, and we have an image tag, and the source can be have we imported it? Yeah, we have imported it. It's in plus icon, so we'll just add plus, and then we can also add a text follow and give it a bracket and just a hardcode text right now, which is 56, and then close this one, and then also close this one, and then probably add another div which have image, and source can be same image that we have side one, which is the first image of our sidebar, side one, and then image is podcaster, not the bracket again. Okay, so let's go and see. Yeah, but so we can add some styles to this one. So inside of our podcast ping, we already have a border to that one, and we also want a class name to this. Let's add a class name, and we want the text to be 13 pixels, and font to be bold, and text gray of around maybe 900, and margin bottom can be 2. Okay, and it's in block element. And also for our uptime monitors, as per inspected it's a text of font size of 13 itself 13 again, and then we have this, right? I think I'm inside a wrong div. Oh, this should be here. A font size of 13, and it's also text gray of around text gray of maybe around 500. I think that will be fine, and then we can just save it. Well, let's see, what do we have here? Yeah, it's kind of fine, but let's also align this one, this image to the right with the help of justify space between, and then the follow and plus can go in one line with display flex. So class name of flex, and then we have this div and then this div, which can this should have gone to the right. Let's see. Okay, so we will also add some changes to our image, which has the follows, and just add text of F11, and font is medium, and the margin top of 3, a little bit of margin in the top. So yeah, so we will also add some space in our plus icon right here, and which can be margin right of 1, margin right, I think image, again it's in capital N. Yeah, okay, so let's also like figure out why the image is not on our right. So border gray overflow hidden, SM flex. Yeah, this should be, I think that's the problem. Yeah, okay, we have created one card, and I will just add another other cards, which is pretty much its reputation. So and we will go to the next section, which is hiring now, and also we can look at the button after we finish this. So I'll just add other lists. So I've already added some reputation for the upcoming products, and it looks something like this, which is visually it's kind of like going similar. Now let's also add a button down here so that we can see view all, which is here. So for that, we will just move towards here and we will just add a div, and this div can be of class name of padding of 5 in all sides. So it's padding 5 and it's flex, and inside here we will just add a button, and this button will have view all, which should be inside a span tag because everything inside a button is inside a span tag. And this span tag should also have a class name, and it should be f2 and text of hunt because we want to take the effect of same color that we are trying to achieve, which is kind of visually the same, but we want is maybe uppercase and then a slight border and everything in the centered, which isn't now. So let's add other classes, which is to our button. Let's add class name, and width would be just full because it takes 100%. That's why width is full, and font is bold, and text of f11, 11 pixel of text, and items can be centered, and background of white, border white, and border of gray around let's see, a mild 300, and uppercase and padding y of 2, and add a focus outline of let's see, let's add none, and then we have it rounded, and also it takes, I think we don't need a text base because we added text f11. Let's see, what do we have here? Oh, I was personally confused whether I was inside a product hunt website. So yeah, it looks pretty much same. And for the hover interaction, we have something called hover prefix. So we have added hover prefix, haven't we? Okay, we'll just add hover prefix as well. Hover background of gray and 200 GRAY, and we kind of like it's an hover for now. It's fine. So yeah, that's basically it for our upcoming products. I'll add minor tweaks here and there later on. Now let's quickly move on to our other section, which is hiring now. And inside here, as you can see here, we have pretty much everything is the same, except we have some tweaks over to this design right here, and we don't have a follow icon or affordance or anything action button right here, and we have everything the same, and we just add hiring post job. So let's make a component for hiring now and implement this one as well. So we have our hiring component ready as well, and I have imported it just under our the section that we just created, which is the winner announced upcoming products. And down here we have our hiring, and inside of hiring we don't have anything yet. Let's go ahead and grab some images that we need, and let's paste it down here, and we will add other stuffs right here. So inside this div, I will just create another div, and again it's the same problem. I need to activate this as this one so that I can just make the use of emet. So hiring now, this is basically the heading, so that's why we have this. So for this one, I will just go ahead and copy everything that we have inside of our upcoming products, because a lot of the UI is replicated, right? So I'll just add some minor tweaks over that particular UI, and let's go ahead and grab everything that we have inside here, which is this div. I think it ends right here, I suppose, and let's paste it right here, but we don't have a logo. Let's add a logo. And let's see, what do we have here? Plus icon is not defined. Okay, we'll just import a plus icon. Oh, we don't have a plus icon. Just remove this one. Just remove this one as well. And then also let's remove this one because we don't have any plus icons right here. And as you can see here, we have something visually similar. So now inside here, we'll just have hiring now, and we won't be having uptime, blah blah blah. Just have hiring now, and hiring at should be capital. Hiring now. I'm really confused myself whether I'm inside a product hub website or my local host. This is weird, right? Okay, let's add other text as well. So stuff that we need, just down right here, and let's hit a save. Everything is fine. Let's add the content, the same thing that we can see here, which is the product hunt logo. It's there, and content lead and remote. So for that, I will just just go here and add another div down here maybe, and add a class name. After adding text degree of 500, and let's add remote here, and we will replace it with content lead because they are searching for a content lead. Oh, okay. So and we have a class name of padding top of 1, and text can be F13, and text gray would be same as this one. So let's hit a save and let's take a look. Everything looks fine except we have these little bit of gaps. If you take a look at the original site, it doesn't have much of gap. So I'll also increase a little bit of color contrast for this one and add on a darker color variation. And also we can do the same with other lists. I've added some other hiring stuffs in the list, and as you can see here, everything resembles the same except we don't have hiring post a job. So let's go and add it. So inside of our div right here, we can create a div and call it a class name of, let's say, padding of x5, padding bottom of 5 again, and text can be font size of 13, and which is font bold, and text of gray can be 500. Okay, and then we have the text hiring. It's hiring, and then inside here we can add a span tag where we have post or job, right? Post job, and then we can a little bit of add stars to this one, adding left of 1, and text color of text hunt. I think this would suffice what's needed. Yeah, it's looking fine, and I'm really getting confused that which one is the original site right now. And let's also add our newsletter now. So I think we'll be getting into newsletter part, and this should be the last UI element that we do. And if you guys want a mobile version of this one as well, just let me know in the chat below. And now let's move on to the newsletter part. And for the newsletter part, I will just create a new component, uh, and we will call that one newsletter. I've added the newsletter component just besides, down of the hiring component right here, and we have newsletter. Inside newsletter, we don't have anything yet, but we'll be writing down the desired UI classes that we need. And the first thing that we want to do is we want to take a look at what's to be made. So we'll have the same heading that we have, which is this one, and we'll have the same card and the same spaces on the top, right, bottom, and left. And we will just have a image and a text and the bottom down here, and then a heading and a placeholder, which is the same that we can reuse this one without the padding on our left, and not the icon as well, and just a subscribe button, which is the same button as this one but with a full width. So let's first like implement the newsletter part right here. So I'll be just adding some classes to this one, which is margin top of 6, and let's add another div which calls newsletter. And let's see, what do we have here? It is saying middle newsletter, but it doesn't seem to be like margin top of 6, margin top of 6, that's fine. It's what margin did I give to this one? It's margin bottom, margin top of 4, so it's, let's add 4, margin bottom of 6, because this would be our last element and we want to scroll a little bit downwards. And I will also add the same class name to this one. I'll just grab some class names because we already have prepared this particular heading style before, and we'll also don't need that comma. And then we can add some other div down here which can be inside a div, which can be inside another div. Okay, so this would be a class name of around you know bg of white and rounded with a shadow background. And here we can have a border bottom, so it's a border B, and border gray of around 200 in shade. And inside here we can have our newsletter image right here. So let's grab the advertisement image that we imported before, and let's call this newsletter for now. And then let's hit a save and let's take a look at the browser. And as you can see here, everything is looking perfect. We have the newsletter image right here as well. So another step, another thing that now we need to do is we need to add star in Super Bowl ad and a border in the bottom as well. So let's grab this one and let's add a div for that one as well. And we'll also copy the emoji and give it a class name of maybe the text should be extra large and text gray of 900, and its center with padding top of little bit of around not 9, 4, and padding a bottom of 4 as well. And let's hit a save. Yeah, it's kind of like it can be a little bit of stronger color and a little bit of bigger font maybe. Let's see, what do we have for our font sizes? Font sizes, and we can have font size of around 20, I suppose, or 24. I think let's leave it to 20 because we don't want to go to 24, and we haven't I suppose created. We have 25, but anyway, let's leave it for now. That's not big of a deal. So we can move further, and let's also add another div which is inside here. We'll just add another div with a class name of margin. Just add padding, padding of 5, and we'll also add a span tag with some text that we have inside here. So which should be this text, and add a class name to this one. And class name can be, it's really bold, and it's around, let's see, okay, it's 16 of base font size. So text base, which is 16, and the font is bold, and then text gray of 900, and it's padding bottom of 2, and give it a flex class as well. And let's see, it kind of resembles, right? So except the color, if we want a blackish color, so also add a blackish color to that one, which can be text color, and that can be text black. Not, oh, this is test. Okay, test text. Okay, text of black, and then everything looks fine. Just let's also add some input fields down there, and we have that span closed. We will bring in another div where we will just start our form tag. Okay, form tag, and this would obviously be a summit, and then inside this form we will have the input, and I want to grab the input that we already created before and place it right here and format a bit. And I have also fixed the padding left, which is reduced to 4 because I don't want a big of padding right here, and we don't have any icons there, and it looks somewhat okay, but we don't have any padding on our right. So for that one we will also fix that out. Before that one, I will just grab in and place some you know buttons right here as well. So give it a class name of probably margin top of 3, and add a button, and inside this button we can add a span tag. I call it subscribe, and this span can be text center and text F13 and MX of auto, and I will also grab some classes for our button that we already created before, which is this one, and I will paste it right here. And also I want to add double full because I want to be with a full 100%. So looks perfect till now. Let's also like, I think it's a little bit of bigger font size, but that doesn't really matter. Now let's fix this spaces, and I think we are pretty much done after that, and we will be skipping the top discussion part, and we will definitely be going through all of the UI element. So guys, we have just finished cloning a product onto UI, which is Tailwind, and I have just skipped some UI part of it just because we have a just long video, and just I don't want to just have a long video. And we have covered some of the things needed for in order to understand Tailwind CSS properly. And as you can see here, we have replicated somewhat decent, which is this is the original site, and this is the clone. And yeah, we have kind of achieved it, and it's visually looking pretty similar as well. About 90% of similarity can be seen, especially some minor tweaks here and there in the hover states, and then other stuffs are still needs to be polished, but it's looking pretty decent. So guys, in this video we just cloned a homepage replication of product hunt. In this journey of making the clone, I suppose you learned something new about Tailwind CSS. Thank you so much for watching my videos. If you guys want to learn about design and development more, please like, share, and subscribe with a click down below. I'll be trying to make more better videos. See you in the next one.